I'm going to do my sharing now.
好似 Monica 一樣，我都係去秘魯，我而家要同大家分享。
So leading up to the trip, we had about 3 team meetings to prepare.
我哋總共有3個我哋一隊走埋一齊訓練準備嘅時間。
And one of the first questions we were asked were, what are your expectations for this trip?
差唔多第一個問題問出嚟嘅就係你對於呢一個旅程有咩期望呢？
And a lot of us gave similar answers. We were all kind of like, oh, we're trying to go without expectations. We want God to work.
好多我哋都俾一個類似嘅答案，我哋都唔敢有咩期望，因為我哋等神點帶啦。
But no matter how little expectations you want to have, you're going to have expectations going down.
其實無論你有幾多嘅期望，你其實係有期望嘅。
So some of the expectations we did have were, first of all, we expected to have about 50 campers because that's what they said they had last year.
舊年佢哋做英文營嘅時候，佢哋有50個人參加，所以今年我哋諗都希望有50個人。
We ended up with about 17 or 18.
最後我哋有17、18個。
It was literally one-on-one. We had the same amount of servers as there were campers.
參加嘅人同埋侍奉嘅人嘅數目差唔多一樣，所以一個對一個咁。
So we were supposed to have 5 English classes ranging in different proficiencies.
原本應該有唔同程度嘅5班英文班。
When they asked me to be a principal teacher, they asked me which group I wanted.
當佢指派我去做其中一個主要嘅老師，你又問你想教邊個即係邊一班呢？
I was like, oh, I'll take the youngest group because they're the same age as my Sunday school class.
我又話我想教最細年紀嗰班，因為會同我主日學嗰啲人差唔多年紀。
So they were supposed to be the least proficient class out of the 5.
咁應該嚟講，佢哋嘅英文應該係最初步嘅。
It turned out when I got there that they were actually probably more of the proficient out of all the campers there.
去到先發覺原來嗰一班人佢嘅英文嘅水準係最高嘅。
So like Monica, I also had to change my plans last minute.
所以好似阿 Monica 咁樣，我要改晒我嗰啲嘅上堂嘅計劃。
Also, when we go down, we were thinking, we're going to South America, Peru. We kind of expected, lower income kids, I guess.
我哋諗住我哋落去南美洲咁，應該係啲窮苦一啲家庭嘅嗰啲青少年人。
But we get there and these kids are using iPhones, and down there they cost $800.
落到去嘅時候先發覺呢啲小朋友佢哋用嗰啲 iPhone 嘅，喺下邊咧成差唔多800蚊一部嘅。
And most of them attend private schools that their parents pay for.
原來佢哋都去嗰啲私立學校讀書嘅。
Yeah, and they were listening to the same music we listen to and everything, and watch the same shows.
聽嗰啲音樂同我哋喺度聽嘅音樂一樣，睇嗰啲嘅嘢同我哋呢度睇嘅一樣。
Yeah, so a lot of us, our minds were kind of blown when we got down there and met these kids.
所以一落到去見到呢啲小朋友嘅時候，我哋就即係唔知點算啦。
So another thing didn't expect was for so many people to get sick or injured during this trip.
另外一樣咧就係我哋估唔到我哋隊裡面當中有咁多個人，一係病，一係受咗傷。
But we praise God because we actually had 3 nurses.
但係咧感謝神，因為隊咗嗰度其實有3個係護士嚟嘅。
We had a respiratory therapist.
咁另外一個係即係幫助呼吸嘅嗰一方面嘅專門嘅人。
And an occupational therapist.
然後咧仲有一個咧係幫人哋
More physical, similar to
physical therapist.
So praise God, nobody died on this trip.
感謝神，冇人死到。
That was the running theme of the week. We were saying the way the week is going, somebody's going to die by the end of the week.
我哋喺度講笑，哇！如果咁樣進行法，去到嗰個禮拜尾嘅時候，即係有人死啦。
Yeah, things just weren't going the way we expected.
好多發生嘅事情同我哋想象嘅好唔同。
Fortunately for us, we got to dorm in the rooms with the people that were in our class groups.
我哋住嘅嗰個宿舍嘅地方係同我哋嗰組嘅人一齊。
So the intimacy of the small group size actually allowed us to get to know the campers a lot better.
所以我哋有機會喺同我哋組裡面嘅人咧深入好多咁認識。
And our theme this year was actually Here is Love.
今年個主題咧就係呢度有愛。
And in my room, I think I was with 3 other servants and 3 campers.
喺我嘅間房間裏面， 我有另外3個一齊去服侍嘅人，另外有3個係營友。
We suffered a lot with learning this how to love, even the servants.
甚至係對住嗰啲一齊落去服侍嘅人，我哋都有都唔係好容易能夠用愛心咁樣嚟到對待。
Because from day one when we got there, one of the campers actually had something against nurses, and 2 of the servants in my room were nurses.
從第一日開始就有事情發生啦，其中有一個營友唔知點解係特別憎嗰啲護士嘅，而我哋嗰間房裏面咧，起碼有2個護士。
And throughout the week, she happened to be the youngest girl at the camp, but the biggest troublemaker.
佢係成個營裏面最後生嗰個營友，但係咧又最麻煩、最多問題嗰個。
So she knew how to press the buttons of these nurses.
佢識得咧點樣做一啲嘢，或者係點樣令到嗰啲護士咧冇辦法應付。
And there was a lot of tension in the room.
咁所以喺房間裏面有好大嘅張力。
And she was one of those girls that were kind of like one of those mean girls. She influences everybody around her.
呢一個細路女好有影響力，所以影響周圍嘅其他嘅人。
So right away, all the other 2 girls in our group were just with her, making fun of the nurses and everything.
所以即刻嘅其他嗰2個嘅營友就已經參加埋佢一齊去取笑、去反抗佢嗰啲幫助嘅人。
And it got to the point where it affected the entire camp on the night of the talent show, where they acted out.
其實唔單止淨係我哋房間，成個營都俾佢影響咗。到嗰一晚，我哋有天才表演嘅時候。
And at that point, we were all concerned because now the entire camp it was already Wednesday night, and the entire camp the tension was felt throughout the camp.
嗰個張力影響晒成個營，因為喺嗰一晚所有嗰啲嘅事情都好似浮晒出嚟。
It was to the point where even one of the pastors was like, at this point, it's not just about her salvation anymore. We need to be concerned about the rest of the campers.
甚至連帶領嘅牧師都喺度考慮，唔單止係要諗到佢哋嘅救恩嘅問題，而家係諗到咧成個營嘅安全嘅問題。
But praise God, we prayed, and the next day she accepted Christ.
我哋感謝神，我哋一齊祈禱，跟住嗰一日佢接受耶穌，相信。
So I guess the thing I learned the most in the trip was to be flexible.
我學到最大嘅功課就係要有適應嘅能力。
Like Monica said, we can be prideful and trust in our own strengths.
好似 Monica 咁樣講，我哋可以好驕傲，好相信我哋自己嘅能力。
But those things will be taken away from you easily.
但係嗰啲嘢其實好容易就會冇晒。
So only God's love and God's strength will allow you to share His love with other people.
其實到最後係神容許我哋分享將佢愛分享出嚟，我哋先至做得到。
And praise God because also the other 2 girls in my room, all 3 of them by Friday accepted Christ.
去到禮拜5嘅時候，好感謝神，因為咧3個喺房裏邊住嘅營友都相信咗接受耶穌。
And then we actually received an email this week as a follow-up from the local leaders. 今個星期我哋收到喺秘魯嚟嘅嗰度嘅負責人嘅一個電郵。And a lot of the campers are actually returning to fellowship this year as opposed to last year.
有好多參加嘅營友，佢哋而家返緊教會。
So I just ask that you guys continue to keep them in your prayers.
我請大家喺你嘅祈禱裏面紀念佢哋。
And thank you for all your support and financially and through prayers.
多謝你哋嘅支持，無論係經濟上高，係祈禱上高嘅支持。